All right, so welcome back to the Light Institute. It's your boy K Sloan, and I'm here with two gentlemen that Coach Z, who is a leader in the community. He's a trainer. He's also a probation officer, and he has his young son with him that's going through the recruiting process. Today, we're gonna add a lot of value in regards to clearing up some questions that you guys may have. Give you guys an opportunity for some live Q&A. Be able to let people know what's really going on out here in this world of recruiting. Be able to eliminate some of that cloud, some of that darkness that's kind of surrounding all of this, because navigating that process could be confusing if you don't quite know what to be doing. But the Light Institute is really aimed at developing mindset, on developing leadership within our community, and also developing career ascension, because athletes and all people need to be able to take their lives to the next level from wherever they at with what they have. Our shout out to our sponsors. We got I Train You, Building the Complete Athlete. We got 254 The Heist, the sports podcast. Shout out to them for the location and everything like that. Coach Doc, what's up? We got Connecting Communities for Growth, 4G, doing great things in the community, continuing to add value. And then, yeah, you got us here, man. So we'll go ahead and take this. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Crazy. All right. I got my guy, my producer ain't here right now, so I got to figure out how to do this. Figuring it out. All right. So,
I'm not doing this.
There we go. Boom.
Get on it. You gotta teach me one day.
All right, so we got the chat open, brother. Glad to have you here.
Yes, sir.
Young brother, glad to have you here. So y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves. Let the people know who y'all are.
My name's Z. Everybody knows me as Coach Z. Owner, operator, all gas, no brakes.
My name's KJ.
There you go. Man of a few words. There you go. And this is a great opportunity too. I love having kids on here because this is good PR training. We talk about that, man. Because as an athlete, you're gonna get interviewed. You're a great athlete. They're gonna get you. So they're gonna have you answering questions. And what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk a little bit about just this whole process in general, right? Mm-hmm. So kind of diving into it, I'll give a little bit of backstory on me. I played college ball at Montana State. I was recruited out of Harker Heights High School, where we won a grand total of 3 games my whole career there. And I ended up getting a Division I offer, which is why I really believe in what I put in this book. Brand new author, blessed to have received an offer from. You guys go cop that book. You can reach out to me directly or get that on Amazon. But I put on there a lot of things that I was able to use to be able to navigate the recruiting process myself. And then also ended up being a recruiting coordinator at OPSU. So that kind of gave me some background and understanding, what basics need to be done, even though that was NAIA, what basics need to be done for student athletes to just get in the door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, kind of going into that, give a little bit of backstory on where you coming from, Coach, because I know you told me a little bit about your story, but let's refresh the people on what qualifies you to have this conversation.
Well, me, man, I'm like you. I come from a small school, and then we kind of changed the culture in the school that I went to.
Right.
Prior to that, I remember times we played every game we played was a homecoming game.
Yeah.
Just getting smashed. So we came out, my recruiting class, we came out with a whole new mentality. We came out we from here. This is what we gonna do. We're gonna be dogs.
Right.
We used to be dogs, DOGS, and now we dogs, DAWGS.
Yeah.
So we're gonna dog it out. And I think it's just like you said, you got to be a student athlete first.
Absolutely.
So thinking back, to my high school career, I was one of those guys that only played 1 year varsity. I was a JV superstar. I was on, freshman B team, freshman A team, sophomore A team, sophomore B team. I was one of those guys that was what they would call a late bloomer.
Right.
But I always had that passion and to do better with my athleticism and to go play college football. That was my goal. That was my dream, play college football. So me coming off my senior year with 1 year varsity, hands down dominating the field. First team, all everything. And when it came down to the recruiting process, I wasn't one of those guys that, and some of your athletes might know, during the season, coaches are going to be coming in giving you letters, giving this guy a letter, this guy a letter, this guy a letter. I was one of those guys who was literally dominating my field, but I wasn't getting any letters.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, so what's going on? So I kind of took that as an internal pusher for myself, and I would play harder the next week. Come out at study hall because it's study hall every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Come to study hall, still no letters. Okay,
Right.
This week I had 3 sacks, still no letters. This week I got 4 sacks, still no letters. So I was watching all those elements and those aspects of my peers getting letters. Notre Dame, Iowa, Louisiana Lafayette, Nebraska, like they was getting letters all the time, and I wasn't getting those.
Right.
So I could have, if I felt like at that point it was 2 ways I could have went. I could have went to shut it down, like what, it's all for nothing, or I can just grind harder.
Right.
But with my upbringing, it was just I only know how to work. That's it. My mother taught me how to work. That's it.
Your mama taught you that.
My mama taught me how to work.
Your mama taught you that. Y'all heard that. Y'all heard that.
So we just worked and worked and worked. And I remember my last game. I remember I was sitting on the field and almost in tears because I had so much fun. My varsity year, like it was super fun. And I was like, man, I wish I would have knew what I knew now, how fun this was. Then I would try to get on varsity as a sophomore, as a junior, and talking to my coach. Like I said, I'm on the field, man. I'm almost in tears, and he was like, what's wrong?" And I was like, man, coach, it's over.
Yeah.
Like this is it. Like this was super fun. I had a great time, but it's over. What I do now? And he just kind of laughed. He was like, man, come to my office on Monday. And I was like, what you mean? He's like, I don't say nothing. We drove back from Italy. And Monday, I come into his office, man. He just got like milk crates of just letters from me.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, like, why you didn't give me these during the season? And he was like, we didn't know as a coaching staff, we didn't know if he was mature enough to handle that type of pressure. Because that's what it is. It's pressure. And some people, once that pressure get up on top, you can become complacent.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, I got this. I got this school. I'm 5-star. I'm 4-star. I'm 3-star. Are you gonna keep working after that?
Right.
And a lot of people only work for that 5-star and that 4-star.
Facts.
So that's when it comes into the element, like you stated before, student athlete. You're a student first. So he took, he gave me all my letters. I look at my letters. I'm reading. He was like, okay, well, you ain't going to none of them schools.
Yeah.
I was like, what you mean? That my name's is on it? He was like, it's a recruiting process. And that's when I first learned about the recruiting process. They literally had somebody just handwriting letters. Sometimes they handwrite it. It's a little bit more personal.
Right.
Like they want you.
If
it's generated, it's literally copy and paste.
So your first time seeing these letters was your senior year?
My first time, my senior year. After the season was over with. And he said, well, because you don't have the grades, he was like, you're going to go to junior college.
Right.
I'm like, what is junior college?
Right.
I don't know what that is.
Education. You didn't have it.
I didn't have it. Nobody told me about it.
You missed that.
And like I said, I was one of those dynamic athletes, but I was kind of a knucklehead.
Right.
They didn't really want to take time for it.
Right.
They was going to use me for my ability, use me for my skills.
Yeah.
But after the lights go down, okay, let's hopefully he don't come over here bothering us.
Yeah. You was a dog on the field and a dog off the field.
I was all through and through. And then I ended up going to junior college, and that was like an eye opener.
Yeah.
That opened like.
Which one?
I went to Kilgore Junior College.
Kilgore.
I'm a Rangers.
Shout out to the shout out to that conference.
Yeah. Shout out
to Cisco.
Okay.
Cisco.
We man, coming from here, you a dog. Everybody know who you are. You walk around, you sign autographs in high school, and you go to junior college, and you out there with everybody's a dog. Everybody dog. And I'm a big proponent for pushing. If you're gonna get an opportunity to play junior college, and that person is saying that organization is saying that you have the potential to play Division I. Right. Because once you go JUCO, everybody in JUCO is Division I personnel. Yeah. Every single person. Like you might have your walk-ons here and there, but practice is going to be like a game. And the mental element of it, you're going to play in front of maybe. I mean, my lowest people I played in front of was like 11. Yeah. We look up and this is. I mean, you could hear it wasn't cell phones back then, but you could hear people talking, having conversations while you're in the middle of a game.
No, real talk. Real talk.
I went from
no traffic out there. Ain't
no traffic.
Yeah, ain't nobody out there. Like,
I mean, you went to Cisco, so they was having funerals across the street.
Real talk.
Like one day we were having a game and they had a funeral across the street. We was like, we playing right now.
That's so real. That's definitely how it goes. Yeah.
So that was different. Then I went from playing in front of 11, 12 people to playing Division I at Middle Tennessee. Right. And we was playing at Tennessee 110,000.
Right.
LSU 91,000.
House packed.
Man,
rocking.
And you're when you got that much noise, you got that much. It's kind of like you realize how big you are. how small how big you are in this world.
Yeah,
because you're standing on the field,
yeah,
and there's so much going on. It's so loud. Like you got TV timeouts, you got media person. There's so much going on, and you're just realizing like I'm here to play football.
Yeah,
Like I'm really here to play football. But it was just a grind to get to that Division I element.
It's a grind.
And what I do, with my organization, what I try to do is the grind.
Yeah.
And I let them know, like, hey, man, where are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to achieve with your athletic success? Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, whether it's sports, you let your body open up doors for you for after your sport.
Right.
It's going to be after your sport.
That's big too. And I think that's what's so powerful about your brand, about what you're doing, and about some different people in the area I've noticed that's being able to cultivate the entire athlete. Right. That's what I respect more about leaders. It's leaders that lead the entire athlete, parents that worry about the entire athlete, the person behind the pass. But then you got your son right here, right? So your son, tell everybody, what school you going to and what sports you playing and how that's going for you.
I'm going to SC Lee Junior High in Copper Club, Texas. I'm playing football, basketball, and track. That's all, really.
Nice. And with that being said, your son, how old are you, sir?
I'm 13.
13. So, okay, this podcast is going to be special for y'all because we're going to give y'all some different perspectives. So we're going from your 13, 14-year-old middle school type kids. We're going to talk a little bit of 9th to 10th grade. We're going to talk about 11th to 12th grade in regards to what y'all need to be thinking about in preparation and the type of questions that you should be asking yourself and being able to answer. So talking about that a little bit, man, like, Coach, you deal with some of these kids in the youth sports right now. And your son, he just kind of got out of that space. He's now in the middle school sports, moving on to high school soon. You had a perspective that you said something about on Instagram that I liked a lot. And what was that in regards to like where these coaches? I think you had posted you put like a quote up.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and can you tell everybody what that quote was?
So talk about that a little bit. What you hear a lot of is athletes, like say football, basketball, talking about the pros.
Yeah.
Pros. When I go pro, I'm gonna do this. When I go pro, I'm gonna do this. When I go pro, I'm gonna do this. And my thing is, like we were speaking about before, about the expectations. Mm-hmm. Your expectation is to go pro.
Yeah.
And like I tell my son all the time, do you know how many jobs there are in the professional ranks?
Right.
Like, you want to be a quarterback. You want to be a professional quarterback. Tom Brady's still playing.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is still playing.
Yeah.
You got, all these people that are still playing. There's only a certain amount of jobs. How about we work on and focus on the tangible things, which is what we can accomplish.
Exactly.
So if I'm a 7th and an 8th grader, my goals should be to try to make varsity as a sophomore.
Yeah.
If I'm in 5th and 6th grade, my goals is try to be a dominant player on the field.
Absolutely.
And you're going to want to be that 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th and 11th grade, 12th grade. Now, like you said, once you get into 10th, 11th, and 12th, just depending on what type of athlete you develop into and your team, because it's going to take a team for you to get to where you want to go.
Right.
It's really going to tap into your preparation.
Absolutely.
For it. Because, like I say, the pressure is the cooker.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you get to 11th to 12th grade, let's be real, you done. You no longer have a chance to go to those big schools. If you have the aspirations of going to the pros, I'm not gonna say you're done, but you are no longer in the prime age to be able to prepare yourself and go to the Division I school that's going to take you to the pros, or go to the Floridas, or go to the Vanderbilts, and because this is what people not understanding. And I really want to get on here and talk about this. It's more so about the foundation that you build with the tangible goals, right?
Right.
I think it's like those parents out here that's making it to where it's like, okay, my son is 12, 11. Let me take him to Dallas. Let me take him to Houston. Let me take him to San Antonio to get more exposure.
Right.
You should be focused more on the grades your son is making or your daughter is making. If your son or daughter is failing their classes, right? And they can't pass 8th grade, 7th grade, and y'all like going to summer school, y'all constantly trying, you should focus more on that.
Right. Because what's going to happen is, in a sport, let's speak on football.
Yeah.
You're going to get hurt.
You're going to get hurt.
If you're playing the way you're supposed to play, you're going to get hurt. And if you prepare the way you're supposed to prepare, then you won't get injured.
Right.
And there's a big difference between being hurt and being injured.
Right.
If you're playing balls to the wall in a collegiate sport, it's a collegiate sport, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Now, when you get hurt, it's not if, but when you get hurt, how do you bounce back?
Yeah.
And the bounce back is a lot of it comes with the preparation. Are you stretching?
Right.
Are you studying the game? And I tell my athletes all the time, the stronger you get, the faster you get, the slower the game gets.
Yeah.
And then once the speed of the game to you is slow, it's more chances you can take, it's more opportunities you can take, it's more things you can open up.
Right.
And myself, like you say, at this point now with the branding and all things going on, you want to try to get the varsity by your 10th grade year.
Right.
That way you're on the radar.
And you're not gonna get there with bad grades.
No.
And you're not gonna get there with a poor character. And you're not gonna get there hanging around folks that's not really on that same wavelength. So you have to make sure you're in the right environment. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times these people that are supporting these kids, because our athletes are just athletes, right?
Right.
Like most of these people that we're gonna talk to that's gonna see this are gonna be people that, you know, either they older athletes or their parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, if you have a kid that young, your main thing is to keep them in the environment around the trainers, talking to the coaches, making sure they're making the grades they need so that they can eliminate any issues when it comes to getting themselves recruited down the road, right? Because let's be real, cats getting offers in 7th grade.
And what is that turning into though?
Was it turning? Was it good?
When they getting them offers, are they turning into monsters, or are they complacent? Oh, I got an offer now. I got an offer.
I think some of it is. I think if a kid is getting an offer in 7th grade, 8th grade, I mean that means he has a genetic disposition to be playing D1 probably. Like he looked the part early in the game enough to where they saw him at AAU ball, they saw him out there at certain events, and all these coaches is a popularity contest. Yeah. So once one person starts buzzing the name around and starts pushing around one school, then other schools tend to catch on. So it's like, you know, for that athlete, I think, you know, what they turn into is really how they were raised. You know what I'm saying? Or it's somebody raising them. It's somebody, a mentor for that student.
What kind of team do they have?
What kind of team do they got? What village is raising that kid? You know what I'm saying? I think it just depends. Like
that definitely plays into their success, because if you're so used to being praised, you're so used to boom, 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 and you get thrust into a situation where you're the one dog on your team. Now they took you and put you on a quote unquote all-star team, and now you're not that dog. How you gonna respond? How you gonna respond well sitting on the bench? Are you gonna respond well not making the plays that everybody's used to you making? Right. How are you gonna respond? And a lot of that comes into your internal, like, what are you playing this sport for? Mm-hmm. Are you playing for your mother? Are you playing for your grandmother? Are you playing because your little brother can't play no more? Are you playing for different things? And you'll notice a lot of times the ones that do make it to the pro level or to the Division I level, they're playing for something different.
They got something else to it.
It's something else to it. And I hear them all the time. Oh, I'm gonna take my son to this camp. I'm gonna take my daughter to this camp so they can get exposure. Yeah. If they're not ready, then they're gonna get exposed.
Man, talk about that. So that's a money grab. That's a money grab. If you're not ready, you're gonna get exposed. And that's when at that point they're just taking your cash.
And that's what it is, for a few years, man, I scouted for the AFL. Yeah. And we would show up and we would say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And we were looking at guys trying to make the professional ranks that can't even run the ladder. Man. We're looking at guys, trying to make the professional ranks who can't read as a quarterback, you can't read a defense. Yeah. Offensive lineman, you can't even get in a proper stance. Right. Defensive line, your whole stance is a 4-point. Like, and 4-point stances, like I explained to the other day, 4-point stances are stances that your coaches put you in because they can't put you in a 3-point. Right. They don't know how to disposition you. They don't know how to put your balance. Right. And if you don't have a
foundation,
if you don't have a foundation, you don't have a proper quarter, you can't get in a proper 3-point stance. You can't get a proper 3-point stance, and that takes away so many moves on the defensive side that you can do. Right. And I'm looking at 9th graders and 10th graders who are coming out of 2-point stances. Yeah. And my first question is, like, how much do you power play? How much do you hang clay? And they're like, oh, well, this is like, so how are you in a 2-point stance? You got to deal with a guy in high school, 280, 290. If he's a gym rat, if he's a gym guy, like my guys, like my guy Barrett. If you get in front of Barrett in a 2-point stance, Barrett gonna bury you. That's what we talk. That's what we teach. You get in front of Jaden Chapman in a 2-point stance, and you not benching what he benches, then he's gonna bury you. That's what we teach. Right. So it's just about always being the best athlete that we can be every single play, and just the training aspect of it though. And you get a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm a trainer." Okay, well, train me. Teach me from the root up. Right. Teach me, if you're a trainer, what body part are you training? What element of my game are you training? What are you really doing? Or are you just working out?
Right.
Because if you're just working out, then that's completely something different.
That's something different. And I think another part of that too is the relationship that you build with your athletes, right?
Right.
Because when you're talking about these kids that are being trained by these trainers, a lot of times we got to look at, I've always heard, who is your teacher, right? When you want to go somewhere, you need to look at your teacher and see what your teacher has done. Where has your teacher been?
Right.
A lot of times your teacher can only take you as far as they've been. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people need to be analyzing who these people they leaving their kids with, paying all this money to cultivate, their athlete. It's like, you got to be training with people that's going to take you where you want to go. So that's why, it's really important, for kids at that age, younger, before you get into high school, to build the foundations is what I'm getting from you. To build that foundation. That's what I believe too, man. It's like you got so many kids that have no fundamentals, they have no character, they have no accountability within their life. But they fast
they can jump though.
And that's cool. That's cool. But there's so many people that fall in that category. You are not separating yourself, and do not tell me you're going to USC if that's all you got. If you're a one-trick pony, ain't nobody gonna really, you know what I'm saying? We don't. That's not what people are putting $50,000 into. One-trick ponies are not getting fast guys. If you're not 10 flat, 9 in track and play football, you're not getting no Division I offer, bro. You better have some skill. You know what I'm saying? You better have some technique.
And again, like you say with those, I mean, your grades count. I mean, they start tracking your grades at what, 9th grade?
That's first, bro.
8th grade.
That's first, bro. That's first. That's like literally first. If you don't have 4 years of English, which is starts you freshman year, and you ain't on track, Division I schools are not hollering at you.
They can't. It's too much money. Like, I don't got time. So I'm trying to think of just a play. A play might come up and say, all right, if he goes right here, this guy lines up right here, this is what you do. If he goes right here, this is what you do. If he lines up over here, this is what you do. How you and if on the back end of it, on my line on the other side, they say check, or riverside.
Yeah.
How do we how are you gonna respond to that?
Right.
And it's like, if you can't even wake up to go to class,
then you can't do it.
If you can't manage your time to have, get your workout in, your practice in, your film time in, your studies in, your study hall in, and talk to your mama and have a social life, then how do I expect you to be successful? Because at this D1 level, it is a microscope on you.
Man, it's crazy too.
It's a microscope.
Yeah.
Everything you do, you gotta pay attention, because some people looking at you for the good.
Yeah.
And some people looking at you for the bad.
Right. All eyes on you. Either way.
All eyes. You can't be getting recruited by a Big 12 and just think, okay, I'm about to throw on Rutgers shirt and go to Burger King.
Nah.
Like that ain't that's not how it works.
And I think that's something that people need to understand, is that you are an investment, right? Like, you have to see yourself as an asset, and that's the change in mindset that I think everybody needs to have. Athletes, parents, coaches, see these athletes as an asset. Your son right now is an asset. When he gets into high school, immediately people are going to start to put a value number and evaluate his ability to produce in the classroom, produce on the field, and be a great person. They're going to put a number on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about the number of the game, I'm going to break that down here after we kind of cover like the basics. So the NCAA Eligibility Center, right? There's so many student athletes that are not in that. Like, I don't understand it. Why it's not like a freshman year requirement, but there's so many student athletes that's not in that, and they don't have the minimum, like, high weight, got your GPA in there, you got your transcripts going in there. They don't have those things done, and it's keeping them from getting recruited.
How much does it cost?
Bro, it's like $50, like $50 to $100. Now the thing is, if you qualify for like free lunch or something like that, you get it for free, you get away.
Right.
But I mean, is it not worth investing in your son $50 to $100 versus taking them to a camp for $150?
They know that invest word though. You know what I'm saying? That investment, are they? I mean, I don't want to tap into financial literacy, but that's what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not saying this is my son, I'm not saying he's an investment, but it's like he's got goals and aspirations. That's what he want to do.
Yeah.
And you can ask him. We never have a conversation about him going pro.
Yeah.
I always talk about varsity. Like, varsity, this is what you're going freshman year, varsity, because his aspirations are his. His aspirations are mine. Like, I played my ball.
Yeah.
I did what I had to do.
Yeah. You're not putting your insecurities on your son.
No, I don't have that.
Because that's cats out here doing that.
I don't have that pride in that ego, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's your money. You know what I'm saying? That's your money. But like I said, you're wanting to act. You have expectations for this athlete to do something, but he physically can't. That's what you gotta understand. Like the people, when you come from here, there's no big major camps here in Central Texas.
Nah.
Well, there's none, right? So all of them want you to drive down the street 2 or 3 hours, stay in a hotel, eat good, and you finna go out here with playing against kids that have trainers. Like we're literally training your core. We're training you how to bend. We're teaching you the verbiage. We're teaching you the terminology. That is the intangible things. Yeah. That's not just running out there and running this route. Yeah. It's like, hey man, look, if he sit down at 3, I need you to change your route.
Little things.
If he bail out, I need you to sit right here. If his foot is right here, I need you to do this. The little things, because at that level, like they're paying these college coaches to recruit you, that's what they're paying them to do. They're literally looking at your weaknesses and how can we enhance those. Like we get your strengths. Your strengths are good, but somebody else, like myself or your opponent, we're watching the film to see your tendencies. We're trying to see what you're going to mess up on because that's where we're going to capitalize.
And coach, I even go as far as to say these college coaches ain't trying to coach. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, let's be real. Be real. Some of them trying to bring you in a ready-made product.
Right.
They want as ready-made of a product as possible so they can use you for 2 years and get a level up job. And cats out here thinking you know what I'm saying? You thinking that you can't invest in your son in some training, or you can't invest in your son taking them wherever, you know, that they say, like, you know, hey, mom, dad, I want to be a collegiate athlete. This is what I want to do. When they tell you that, if you're not willing to invest, you know, they got to tell you, right?
When is that? And I open that question up. Has your athlete came to you and said, hey, I want to perform better. I want to go to college. Yeah. I want to play at this. Not. I want to play at Baylor. Yeah. I want to play at LSU. I want to play at USC. Had they came and told you, say, hey, I want to play college football. I want to play college basketball. Will you help me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Where's that element out of it? And myself, like, I'm a trainer. And I got 3 kids, but it's like I waited for them to come and tell me. Like I literally got into training because my son, he doesn't remember when I was still playing ball. I used to pull him up the hill on a tire. He thought it was fun. And that was a way for me to still, you know what I'm saying, be around my
build a
kids.
Relationship with your kids.
But at the same time, I'm still training because I still got to pay these bills.
That's your life.
That's my livelihood. So I waited until he came to me and was like, humbled. You know what I'm saying? We called the pitch. You know what I'm saying? Humbled came. He was like, all right, teach me. And I was like, okay, bet. Yeah. And it just so happened his, you know what I'm saying, his breakout year, his success that he's seeing now comes from work. Yeah, like people don't see the work that we did. I mean,
groundwork was laid.
The groundwork is continuing to be laid, but people don't see like the difficulty it is for upper level athlete having kids. Yeah, because it's like you don't want them to only see you as, oh, I can only talk to my dad or my mom about sports.
Right.
Like, you know, you want to talk to them about different elements and different aspects, because then you got to still have that like I'm coach, but I'm dad. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm coach, but I'm mom. Right. You know, you got to have that element. And I think sometimes moms that have little boys playing football, like they want them to make it so bad. Yeah. That sometimes they'll put their athlete in a not, I won't say a bad situation, not the best situation. Yeah. Because they truly don't know.
They don't know. And I think that's something that's important, to be able to have that open dialogue with your son or your daughter. You know what I'm saying? Having that open dialogue about, is this really what you want? You know what I'm saying? If your kid doing sports in any capacity, in really anything they doing, you should ask them repeatedly, right? Repeatedly, like, hey, is this still what you want to do? Yeah. Because you only gonna have resent in your heart as an adult when you put money into something that the kid don't want. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's not gonna care.
He's not gonna care. You over here calling him soft. You know what I'm saying? You got people out here calling him soft, when in reality he might not be soft. He's just not driven. Like this ain't him.
Yeah, that ain't him.
This ain't him. And if he's not that, then make sure you find out earlier versus later. So have the conversation with your kids and make sure. It's a hard conversation, because some people want it real bad. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying, you a big time Cowboy fan. You know what I'm saying? You have aspirations of seeing your son play left tackle because he's bigger than I don't know what. Yeah. But bro, not like that. Like, bro, he's not that. Like, just accept it. Except if he tells you, believe him and allow your son to become whatever he's supposed to become. You know what I'm saying? Build the man up. Like,
you're gonna get you're gonna get flack. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna get flack.
You're gonna get it because I remember when COVID hit. You know what I'm saying? When COVID hit, I looked at it like, okay, my son, he's a decent athlete.
Yeah.
I'm a trainer. I know exactly what I'm doing. So I took COVID as an opportunity to kind of push. I was like, bet, this is what you're gonna do. I'm talking about, what was it, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm calling him like, hey,
grinding,
go get these weights in. And then we would go days without talking, just mad. He just eating, just mad. And I had to sit down and tell him, I said, look, you gonna hate me now. You're not gonna like what I'm doing right now. I'm telling you, but I'm watching. If you just listen to me and you trust me, you're gonna shock this whole community.
Yeah.
You're gonna tear it down.
My dad did the same thing.
Out the frame. And then he was like, whatever. And it was just that constant flack, you know what I'm saying, that me and him had. But I had to be like, you know what? I see this what he wants.
Yeah.
So I gotta step out of this realm and step into this realm and listen to him. And I know he doesn't know. He knows what he wants. He doesn't know how to get there. So I gotta show him how to get there. Yeah. And if I gotta take that heat and take that flack, that's cool. Because at the end of the day, he gonna love it.
He gonna love it.
And he came out this year and just Cass was like, "Yo, who is this dude?" Yeah. And I was like, "Man, while y'all was chilling playing video games and hanging out, this man was working. This man stayed working." And that's the thing when they come into 9th grade, 10th grade. Even like now, I see so many people talking about, "Oh, it's summertime, it's time to work." What you mean?
No, it should have been working.
Like we've been at it since December.
Too late. Too late.
You too late. Because I'm guaranteed, you step in front of I'm gonna say one of my guys, man, he's trying to smash you. That's what he's taught. That's what he's taught to do.
Man, and I feel like that's critical to understand. Is that's the type of work that it takes. You know what I'm saying? I had no summers where I was just chilling. My entire youth, high school, I never had a summer. Even college, I never was just chilling all summer. Well, Cass was going to Disney World. Cass was going, trips to wherever they was going. I was working. And the thing is, it's not that you shouldn't enjoy fun. You have to understand what it takes and understand where you at. Like where these student athletes are at and where they have to be, there's a gap, right? Yeah. Your genetic disposition, whether your height, your weight, your speed, what God gave you, and where you want to go, you have to identify that gap as a parent, as an athlete, and you got to be able to fill that gap. Because if you don't, then you got to just say those dreams are not really going to come true for you because you're not willing to put that work in to get to that point. But like even so, doubling back, bro, going back to like what we were saying about like the NCAA Eligibility Center, I just really want people to understand that you need to get your student athlete in that as soon as possible. Also testing, right? When you're talking about ACT, SAT tests. The student athletes are really students in middle school take the PSAT for the most part. I believe all of them take the PSAT to prepare them for the SAT. My personal opinion is that I've seen kids get recruited at a much higher clip when they have a SAT score freshman year. Yeah, because now they're seeing that the projection, they're seeing that you want more. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're looking at like, okay, this kid here, he's not great. They should be worried about girls or this and this and this. He worried about the SAT score. Okay, so my thought process, and that's the thing about sports is it's always your next play. Yeah, your next play. You hear a lot of coaches saying, sports is this is chess, not checkers. Chess, not because we're not trying to take all pieces off. We're trying to take the moves away. Yeah. So I'm looking at your moves that you're making. Okay, you're making this move as a freshman. You're making this one as a sophomore. I can only imagine what you're going to be making as a senior. Right. So it's a progression of it, and that's also the discipline of it. Right. And that's what it really takes to get to the level that you're trying to make. You know what I'm saying? It's the discipline. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you, KJ, what's discipline to you?
Respecting your elders and helping the people around you. Like when they ask you to do something, once you should do it, but when they ask you multiple times, you have to listen multiple. That first time, not all the other times.
Does this?
Hey, I like the fact that you said though that you don't have to do it. You don't have to hear it multiple times though. You listen the first time, and that's trust. No, you know what I'm saying? Trusting the fact that this adult in the situation is the person that's giving me good information I can act on. And I think a lot of that is something that's missing within our culture right now. So we got a lot of kids that are second guessing what the adults are saying because we allowing that dialogue. And it's okay to have dialogue, but there's certain times like the military teaches chain of command. Like when the call gets made, it's a go. And this is for everybody. Yeah. This ain't no second guessing. This ain't no open conversation. And your son understands that, which is why he's succeeding right now. It's because these types of athletes fit in the programs a lot better. Right. Versus the guy that's always like, why? Now it's okay to ask those questions in a setting where it's like a creative space. But when we playing sports, when we in this game, in the confines of the construct of learning within the game, learning life within the game, training, being a better athlete, being a part of a unit, you have to learn how to go and just act and execute. And that's what we need to see more out of these young athletes. It's just them being executors and us promoting them to be executors. Like you have to have execution, bro.
So how do they learn how to execute? And who are they learning how to execute from?
The leaders. The leaders have to hold the ones they lead accountable. Like I said, I could tell who your teacher is by looking at you, right? Just vice versa. If you want to be somewhere, you need to look at your teacher and see how your teacher is conducting business. If your teacher is not the type of person that's, able to execute and go handle business and isn't doing the things and living the lifestyle that you think you want your son to live or you want your daughter to live, then maybe y'all need to look for another master teacher, look for another coach.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying? Go a different direction with it.
So what about loyalty? Can you be loyal to who you loyal to?
You loyal to your kids.
Supposed to be.
You loyal to your kids. These coaches, we're not loyal to these coaches like that. I mean, we love them for what they do for us.
Right.
But at the point when somebody shows you who they are, you believe them.
You should.
You got to.
Yeah, you should.
You got to. I don't see any reason why I'm going to be operating in a way of like, oh, well, I'm going to stick with this person no matter what. But I'm seeing that my student athlete not growing.
A plus. Like I'm looking at it like if I put my son on a team and you as a coach, I'm gonna trust you as a coach.
Yeah.
So I put my son on a team and then you like, okay, well, he can't do this, so I'm gonna put him over here. I'm like, okay, you got him over there. I'm gonna watch how you develop him. Who you have around him? What is he doing? And did I just pay $300-$400 for him to be on the team? And just he's a part of the team. He's getting that experience.
Right.
Like, no, I like my coins.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, we see he has trouble throwing the ball. So quarterback, okay, we'll work on that. As a father, I'll work on that.
Right.
He has trouble running the ball. Okay, he'll work on that. As he's gonna play defensive line. Okay, so what are you coaching?
Are you coaching? Because
if you're coaching, you cannot try to decipher yourself between what's the big ones, AAU and rec ball.
Right.
Like you can't say this ain't rec ball, this AAU, and you're not coaching. You're not developing them. And that comes with time. And a lot of people are like, oh well, I do this for free. I hear a lot of coaches get frustrated. I do this for free. But it's like if you got passion for something, you'll do it for free anyway. But it doesn't matter. You didn't do this for free.
You did do this for free.
You did not do this for free because this man here gave you money for his son to play on your team.
Right.
And that's one of the things when I ran my semi-pro team. If you pay me money, you play. As a coach, I'm going to manage.
Right.
As a head coach, I'm going to manage my team.
Right.
So I'm going to make sure that you get your money's worth. I'm going to make sure that you developing. And if you ain't developing, then I'm going to send you around. I'm going to send you on your way.
Right.
Because that's looking out for the best interest of you. I watch so many kids sit on the sideline all game.
Yeah.
Every game. All game, every game. So then when I come to them, when I say, hey, man, there's an opportunity for you to possibly go over here to this other team. Nah, we're going to stay right here.
Why are they doing that?
For what? Like,
why are they doing that?
Like, how many years has he played for this team? 3? He didn't play last year.
Yeah.
Nah, he didn't play the year before that either.
Yeah.
Nah. So I don't understand why. So why you still keep relying on this coach? This coach isn't developing your athlete.
What's the response?
I get no response. I get that look like, well, he wants to play with his friends. Okay, that's fine. I get that. You can play with your friends, but you're not playing. They're playing.
Right.
And they're saying, a lot of people want to put them into sports so it can develop character, it can develop discipline.
Ooh, the water ice, man, oh man. Appreciate you, Doc. Man, shout out to the water ice, man. Shout out to the water ice. Y'all come by here, get y'all some of this water ice, man. This is pressure.
But it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing it for?
Yeah.
Like, so are you trying to get their money? Are you trying to win a championship? Or are you trying to develop a kid? Because sometimes those three things ain't gonna lie.
No, that's absolutely 100% true. And I think it's always dependent on what the kid, what the kid and what the parents want. Because I think that everybody's goal isn't necessarily to develop their kids in the sport. I think some people really just playing for fun, or they just want to be around their friends. That's why these parents are bringing their kids along with certain other kids and their families, and it's a kumbaya moment, and they get to have those experiences, and that's cool.
So why get mad if you lose?
No, you can't get mad. You don't have that opportunity. You don't get that. You can't get mad at that. You have to understand that when you go into a situation, with a team, I appreciate it. You have to have intention. I think that's important. You know what I'm saying? You need to know with the team that you're dealing with, you need to know the what, the why, the how, right? You need to know exactly what the mission is for these coaches in this team, why they're doing what they're doing with your athlete, and how they're going to do that. Because eventually, you're going to have to answer to your son or daughter when, they're looking at you like, Mom, Dad, why'd you let me do that? Why'd you put me through that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's important to know. So,
and it's the hard conversations that you got to have, but I feel like people are afraid to have. Like I say, you see a lot of young, or not young, you see a lot of single mothers putting their kids in football because their brother played football, their dad played football, their boyfriend played football, their husband played football, their ex-husband, whatever. But it's like, again, who are you putting them around to develop them as a better all-around person, all-around athlete, all-around teammate? Because you see some of the teams, these kids are just not good people.
Yeah.
And they're not good people because you watching their mom or their dad pop off on the sideline. It's like, yo, pause.
Yeah.
Time out.
Yeah.
There's kids around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's kids around. So it's like, what are you in this for? Are you in it driven harder than your athlete?
Yeah.
Or are you in it because, like you said, you're trying to live through them and you can't live through them?
And that's important. And because once you get done with that portion of it, once you get past that part, then when they go into high school, it's a different beast because now it's starting to become self-directed. And once things become self-directed, then now it's my job to get myself recruited when you talk about the recruiting process. So I really want to reiterate that statement. It is your job as a student athlete if you want to get recruited. If you're at the age where now you are consciously understanding what you're doing, trying to get your grades right, you're trying to get your transcripts together, you're trying to get your test scores done, it's now your job to get in front of coaches, right? I've always been told, that it's not about, going and finding coaches, it's more so about making it easy to find you, right? Because at the end of the day, great athletes are great athletes and they will be found. Diamonds in the rough are found all the time. You got guys like Cooper Kupp, who, coming out, he had 0 stars, went to Eastern Washington, and now he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. So I think it's very important for people to understand, you have to cover the basics. You have to make the bottom higher. Like you have to make sure that when people think about the worst thing about you as an athlete, right? Because you have to see yourself as a marketer too. The worst thing about you as an athlete, it has to be things like, man, maybe I wish he was a little bit taller. Maybe I wish, he was a little bit faster. You can't, there's some of those things like God just didn't bless you with. But it can't be that your grades are not there.
Grades got to be there, and then you got to understand what your value is to that team. So if you're if you're a junior and you play running back,
right,
and you got University of Miami looking at you, and Miami got 3 sophomores, they got 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen, and you play your same position. Why is Miami even on your board?
Right,
and that's the thing about going to these camps. It's like ask this question. This is what I encourage every parent to ask this question. If you get a call, or you get an email, you get a letter from a coach saying, come to this camp.
Right.
Ask him that hard question. And that hard question is, where's my son on your board? And a lot of them won't ask that question because they don't want to hear that hard answer.
Hey, what's that question one more time so they can remember?
Where is my athlete at? I'm talking basketball too. Yeah. Where is my athlete at on your board? If they can't answer that, then that's a money grab.
Yeah, it's a money grab.
If they can't tell you the intangibles, even the small things about your athlete, then keep your coins and wait. Keep your coins or invest your coins into getting your athlete more exposure. And the best way to get your athlete exposure is his performance on the field.
And I want to add to that. So I'm glad you said that about keeping your coins because, there's 3 different categories of camps. I really want to get into this. So when you talk about these categories of camps, right, you got local camps, So you got local camps where, you know, people in the area put on a camp, everybody comes out, everybody gets their work in, they get to see the combine, you know, those type of drills, things like that. They go through and get that work, right? That's what those camps are for. Then you got the other type of camp, which is the mega camps. These are like the big showcases. So you got, you know, they market it to where we're going to have 50 different colleges there from D1 down to D3. And then they'll have all these coaches out there, and they'll be out there evaluating your student athlete is what they sell it on. But you have to understand something about that. Those situations, a lot of those coaches that are out there, they already know who they're going out there to see.
They called them.
They called them.
They called them.
So they emailed them. So they're there for those athletes, and they don't have the time to search through 500 athletes to look for your son. So that's just important to know. So then, boom, you got the mega camps, and then you got the traditional college camps, where you got the TCU camps, you got the Baylor camps, you got the Notre Dame camps, and these camps are a little more intimate. But it could be essentially the same as the mega camp if you have not communicated with the coaches.
Right.
So coaches want athletes to reach out. They want to know height and weight. They want to know what school you go to. They want to know if you got your transcripts ready. You want to know if you got your GPA where it needs to be. They want to know your test scores. Before you go to any camp, you should have sent that to a position coach that recruits your area, that is able to be found on the team homepage. You go to the team homepage, you go find the coaches, and you go send an email. You got a text message number. You got whatever you need. Send that to them, and they will respect the fact that you did that before you came, and they may reach out to you. But I wanted to add that to what you were saying, because a lot of times when you don't go through the steps and understand, then you waste your money. They took money from you now at that point.
And again, I always call it that hard question, because, you know, to me, like, my son a dog.
Yeah.
But to you, he like, oh, well, you know, he can do this, he can do this, he can do yada yada. So if I call you and say, hey, yeah, man, I got your email, thank you for the invite, and where's he at on your board? And your conversation is, oh, well, just bring him out, let me check him out. Me going where I play where I played, I'm be like, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm good, because you know you pay attention to him. I was a what's called computer generated. You just found out whatever it was, plug my name in and send it to me. Right. You got my $300 for this 2 hours, for this 3 hours, and you're gonna keep pushing. And again, there's ways around that hard question that you don't want to answer, and that's just put that investment into your athlete. Pay for that training.
Yeah.
Pay for that nutritionist. Pay for that weight trainer.
Right.
And a lot of them are so reliant on the high school coach. And
stop doing that. Y'all stop doing that. Stop doing that.
I think it's only one. I could be wrong, but I think it's only one certified strength and conditioning coach in Collegiate and Copper Cove area, and that's at Harker Heights. I could be wrong.
Hey, shout out to Coach Brock.
Yeah, I think Coach Brock is the only one that's legit, like, in their building. Now, don't get me wrong, coaches out there, they're doing what they can. They remember how, you know, they worked out when they was in high school. Yeah. They're on YouTube.
Don't knock on them.
No,
that's just the reality of it.
But you can't if you have better aspirations for your son to get recruited from LSU or BYU or Florida State, you can't rely on this man over here, because he don't know the other intricacies to it.
And not only just that, even the greatest coaches that got all their accreditations will tell you that your student athlete need to go get some extra work. Especially when you're talking about getting to that next level, because again, we keep saying the same I word, man. This is an investment. Like, you are an investment as a student athlete. When you walk into a campus, man, they want to know that you're ready to go. You train to go. I don't want to be over coaching athletes when I'm a college coach.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the time. I got to recruit. I can't sleep. I'm cutting up film. I'm making sure I'm analyzing. I'm getting my players ready. We're not trying to do all that work to coach your son. Your son need to show up ready. And this is the reality that people need to come to, is that you got to start early and often in regards to investing in your son when they show you that they want this. When they say they want this, it's time to go. It's time to go. Like, hey, the window's only. I know our prime time is going to be from you being 13 to about you being 16. Because if you're not getting no offers after that, hey, now we looking at, I'm gonna have to spend some money, because we could talk the athletic money versus the academic money a little bit.
Yeah.
So when we talk that, athletic money is gold in NCAA, right? So when you talk about Division I is the only division that's gonna offer you a full scholarship. Anybody else say they offer you is not a full scholarship. It's potentially a partial scholarship, right? We know that. And then Division II is gonna be where you start to get into the equivalency scholarship. Excuse me. So with those are the combination scholarships, right? Where they'll have like 10 scholarships for the team, and they'll divide those scholarships up. You know,
people,
between you know what I'm saying?
They'll make it work.
They'll make it work, but they always combine it with academic money.
Right.
So when you're talking about somebody that's a little undersized, a little bit on the intangibles aren't necessarily a strong point, they just hard workers. You need academic money to be able to get your school and pay for it. School's expensive, y'all. This is an investment. I keep telling y'all got to make sure that you covering the bases, get your grades right first, so that you are now making yourself marketable to these colleges, so you get in somewhere and play.
And at the same time, you got to be realistic. I mean, if you might be a great cornerback, you might be an awesome cornerback, but if you're an awesome cornerback at 5'6", you gotta have some more intangibles for the Big 12s, for the SECs to come get you, because these receivers are 6'4", 6'5".
6'4", 6'5".
So it's like, set your, and I get it, like you want to set your standard high, you want to set your goal high, but you also gotta set them realistic goals. Like you gotta be like, look, okay, I might not be able, I didn't get the genetic composition from my parents for me to play at those big schools, because you get some kids who don't even play, who not as talented as you. However, their genetics is gonna get them looked at faster than you.
Oh, real talk. That's it.
Like,
You have nothing that you can do about that. You can only work. And then we looking at this question right here. So he said, Mr. Will said, so if we have kids at the age of training, why are we using the all-in-one? Because there's no all-in-one coach. And you can ask any college athlete, his DC is not teaching you how to work out a condition. That's a fact. There is no all-in-one coach. Everybody has expertise. I mean, you got to really be able to analyze what's the expertise of your coach. Again, we talking about who's your teacher, right? If you going to somebody that's your football coach, he's your high school coach, he obviously understands X's and O's very well. Right. He's extremely out of shape and he does not know how to do a squat. Then don't be sitting there listening to all of his ideas about how to squat and how to build muscle and all that stuff. Like, you need to go find a real trainer that can help you develop that, because you have to have a village, right? You have to have a village. You can't rely on one coach. One coach ain't gonna be able to do it. Yeah, you get that, but one coach ain't gonna be able to do it. That's correct. Because
why do we rely on all-in-one though?
Because people talk that good game, though. We emotional spenders. People talk that good game to us. They be like, I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this. Right. But the reality of it is, like, we got to really analyze, man, the people that, we are allowing our kids, like we said before, to be in the care of, because everybody's not able to do everything. That's 100. I like that statement. We have specialists for sure. And, I think we can kind of pivot a little bit into, like, yeah, they
don't want to go D2. Why?
Why they don't want to go D2?
They don't want to go D3. Why? Because it's not on TV. But I mean, I'm gonna say, because like I said, I've been there. If you can ball, you gonna ball,
and they'll find you.
They're gonna find you. But then what a lot of people, I don't think people really look at, is if you get a kid that's been playing high level sports, high level competitive sports since he was 8 years old. By the time he's 18, he's 10 years in already.
Yeah.
He's 10 years in already. So then once you get him, his body is not going to be able to hold up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be able to hold up.
It's
going to break down. Little things. And so people are like, oh, man, he just made it. Why is he not? Because he's broke down. That body is not going to be able to.
Yeah. And that's why it doesn't make sense not to see yourself as a cash producing asset, as an athlete. Again, I keep saying it because I think it's a shift that we need in athletics. We need to shift our mindset behind just putting value on what our body's going to do. Because like you just said, Coach, it's going to break down, right? We put that work in. The concussions is a bigger issue now than it ever has been in youth sports. Mamas don't even want to let their kids go out there. And the reason is, it's not like it's far-fetched. We weren't necessarily built to do this to our bodies. But the thing is, what we're doing with our bodies could become a vehicle to be able to take us where we want to go. So these kids not wanting to go D2, as my man's is saying, is the fact they don't understand that they're an asset once they're in college. Once you in college and you actually getting this thing paid for, and you got some academic money combined with some athletic money, you build it together, and you only got about $2,000 come out of pocket. Do you understand that some people got $60,000 in student loan debt? They can't even buy houses. Like, y'all gotta tell this to your kids though. You gotta keep it real with your kid and be like, hey, look, I know you only got D2 offers. I know you distressed about that and things like that, but you have an opportunity to go in there and change the trajectory of your lifestyle. Like, it's gonna get you about this city. It's gonna get you about wherever you at. And I think that's something that, you know, it's a culture shift. You know, we always worry about TV time and all that, but it's more so about the opportunity to go and learn something, grow, be around good people, network. That's what college is about. College
it's great, but can they handle that though?
Can they handle
that? So Collegiate, can you handle if somebody asks you, you walk out your dorm room and somebody asks you, your shoe is on top, and you think you just gonna go down and to tie your shoe, and they ask you, what's the problem at home? What's going on with your roommate? Why you flunking math class? Is that why your shoe is on top? And that's kind of fetch, but that's what they do as a Division I athlete. You're under a microscope, and you have so much pressure on you, and we're putting all these pressure. Like I always say, we're watching college football. Mm-hmm. But what we're not differentiating between is these people that we are watching are 19 years old.
Yeah.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Like these kids are 19 and they're 20 years old, and they're thrust upon to play Division I. That's going to make this organization billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars. And then you got, you're the best athlete from your neighborhood. And you're out there, so you got to put on for your neighborhood. You got to put on for your family. You got to put on for the organization. You got to put on for the university. You got to put on for your possible, all these things. How many kids are mentally ready for that?
But I feel like even in that situation right there, that's when the mental health starts to decline, right?
Right.
When you start to really harness that, and let's say you get injured, or let's say there is a player that was recruited that was better than you, and you have to sit a little bit, and you got to put on for this, and you got to do for them, and then if it's not about you first, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
The athlete has to first understand that me being a collegiate athlete is most beneficial for me first. And if it's no longer that, then I have to transition to something else.
Next man up.
Next man, and that's okay. We gotta stop putting all our value in the fact that we out there producing on the field. I think once you release yourself of the anxieties of being an athlete, then you're a better athlete. The best athletes really don't think that much. That's what people don't understand. It's not a thinking process when you're an athlete. It's not an over analysis of how we doing things. When you out there on the field, you playing. When you're a quarterback and you out there, it's 1st and 10, you know the situation, you know where you're going with the ball, you go make the play. That's it. It's not about all that over anxiety and all that. Mama think I should do this. Once we create that for the kids, then now it's no longer about the game, and it's about all kind of other stuff. And then when I get hurt, my world comes down. Right?
That's what happened.
I place my value in my ability to play this game, and that's ridiculous. I did it. I've done it. I've been there.
Yeah, I've been there too,
man. We talked about that.
That depression and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Listen to that. I think about one of my good friends, man. He played at University of New Mexico, and I remember it was me, him, and another one of my college, my high school teammates. And you gotta understand, the high school I went to, we set the bar for what's in Copper Cove right now.
Right.
We set the bar. Prior to my year, Copper Cove was like whatever. And on one team, I think we had, well, let me say this. Out of 21 starters.
What year was this?
This was 98. So out of 20, was it 11, 22? Out of 22 starters, 19 of us went Division I.
Wow.
Over the course of 2 and 3 years. And then out of those 19, like 8 or 9 of us went pro. So off of that one team. So I remember we're sitting there, and one of them had just got on with the Chargers. The other, we're sitting in the room, we're talking to his dad, we're sitting around, and he got a phone call. And he says, yes, sir, he's talking to the guy, and it's the Arizona Cardinals. Mm-hmm. He done played 4 years of Division I football. It's Arizona Cardinals on the phone. He says, yeah, I thank you for your offer, but I'm going to the military. Yeah. And we was like, what? Like, you just turned down the NFL? Like, are you serious? Like, I'm on him because that's my goal. That's my dream. Like,
that's your goal.
That's my goal. Yeah. He's like, nah, I'm not. So, talking to him now, he's retired from the military. Yeah. Chilling, got land, got a house, got all that. And I'm like, dang, like, so that was the move for him. But that's because that's what his humbleness was. That's how he was raised.
Yeah,
like,
that's him.
Football is going to end. Basketball is going to end. Baseball is going to end. What's your end game? What's your end goal? And I think, like we're talking about, the parents have to have a legit conversation with this athlete to say, hey, do you want to play this?
Right.
And you have to consistently ask that over and over and over, almost to the point to where you're bugging them because it can get expensive. It can get expensive. These places that you're going to, you know, these hotels you're staying in, this food you're staying in, gas is about $5 a gallon now. So you know you're traveling to all these places, and you're trying to put this something into your athlete that's not there.
It's not there.
It's like you're shoveling water out of a boat with a hole in it.
Mm.
And then you look up and you catch your athlete, he's over there poking holes in your boat.
Right. You didn't even know the whole time.
You didn't even know. It's like, did you want to play? I only played because you wanted me to. And no, if you want to play, don't play.
That's the unfortunate reality for a lot of athletes and parents. And that's what I say. We said before, you constantly got to revisit that conversation. They said 98 Code Group was special, but we got to constantly revisit that conversation and find out what your athlete wants. But you know what I'm saying? Just on a recap tip, though, just making sure that y'all understand, though, man, these recruiting lists, everybody get them. Okay, everybody get these letters. Like if you are an athlete that goes to certain camps, the data that you have is sold to services that send them to the coaches that now send stuff straight out to you, and it's a machine. So they don't know you, y'all. They don't know you. I talk to so many parents, man. They keep telling me, man, no, they ain't sent me the letter. I'm like, look, man, I got you, but they don't know your son. Okay, they don't know you. They don't know your son. So let's just keep getting yourself in front of the right people, and things will get better in regards to recruiting. And then also, you know what I'm saying, offers. Well, again, only real offers is going to be a Division I full scholarship offer. Everything else is pieced up money. And in most cases, basketball, they also give out full scholarships. But every other sport, for anybody else playing other sports, is a head count sport. So it's like you got like the equivalency scholarships where they piece money together. And then also, so going into like let's talk a little bit about like when these people are trying to figure out, you know, anybody that's trying to figure out, man, like what do I do? Do I go to a recruiting service, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your stance on recruiting service? I'm curious, like how do you feel about recruiting services and things like that? Like, cause I got my own stance, but I want to know what you think.
I think it's got to come down to the preparation first,
right?
Because like I say, the recruit service is a business. They in there to get money
first.
So if I come to you and I give you, you know what I'm saying, a highlight of my athlete, that's what you're getting, a highlight of my athlete, and they're like, all right, well, bet we're gonna push them. We're gonna do this and this. They're out there just to get that money, right? But how far can they push him if the athlete's not ready? Like his body physically isn't what this team is looking for. His mentality isn't what they're looking for. His aggressiveness isn't what they're looking for. Right. They can only push you so far before they be like, hey, you know, yeah, pay your money again. Pay your money again. Pay your money again. Pay your money again. So I think before you even reach out to a recruiting agency, go to your son or your daughter's practice. Watch them. Watch them when they're not in. Watch them when they're in. Watch them when they're on the way to practice. Watch them on the way from practice, and understand where you're investing your money into. Because again, a recruiting spot, that's what they're gonna do. You're paying them for a service.
Yeah.
You know, but once you get that athlete prepared and he's ready to go or she's ready to go, then that recruiting service is gonna come to you. You ain't got to go to them.
Did you ever use one were they around when you was in school?
No.
You ain't never used one. You know any athletes that used one and got an offer?
No.
Doc, you know anybody that used the recruiting service got an offer?
That's a lot of they do what normal person do. All the recruiting service do exactly what y'all do. They get the coach's name, but the difference between a lot of them, they know the coaches.
Right.
But I had one athlete that went to I think it was a D3, D2. He got an academic and athletic scholarship. And guess who did the work? His mom's. She did the exact same thing. She get the coach's name and she sent out highlight tapes. But what is a highlight tape? Highlight tape ain't nothing of your good plays.
Yeah.
If I want to see I can go look. I need your film because you know what the film gonna show me? Everything about you when you're not getting the ball. So what is your tendencies when you're not getting the ball?
That's what I was gonna say. So like, boom, everything a recruiting service will do, you can do for yourself. You do not need to go pay a recruiting service. I think that the one thing that is beneficial from having a recruiting service, just so everybody will know, is the education. Right? They do give out a lot of free game, but it's free game still. So you can still go to those services and get the free game. You can go find these videos. You can go find ways to set up a sample email letter. You can do those things online, straight Google. But the recruiting services just pretty much is an opportunity for parents to try to pay their way out of the work.
That's exactly.
And you're not going to do that. You cannot pay your way out of the work, especially when it comes to recruiting. You have to have a Twitter page for your son. You have to have Instagram. You got to have the all of the modems that college coaches go to check out how athletes are doing. And marketing is all stuff that you can do. And they're pretty much I'm not gonna say it's taking your money, but they are paid. They're getting you to pay them because you're not really trying to work like that. That's my personal opinion on it.
So what happens if the parent is too busy, though? Or can you be too busy for your athlete?
I think that's why I think that there's beneficial portions to that with the education. But if you're too busy, I think you have to go and find other people that are doing what you're doing and try to connect with them. That's why it's important what teams you link up with. Even these youth teams, man, like there should be a accountability in, if I'm working with somebody like, hey, can you help me with some of this? Like, I understand that you may not know right now, but can you direct me where I need to go? Mm-hmm. Like, just because I've never been there, right? So when we're talking about resources, man, I just told you I wrote this book, man. I wrote this book, blessed to have received an offer from, like, and it's not like a plug. I didn't write the book just to write the book. I wrote the book because I really believe that this is information that if you compile stuff together, usually people can find it easier. Like, we have to help to each other. Like, this is not something that's just common. I told y'all already, we had multiple athletes we talked to that don't have NCAA ID numbers at junior year. You can't get offers yet. Like, it's just the stuff like that. Like, we have to share the information. So
why? My question is why the best athletes in this area are not playing on one AAU team?
That's $1 million question, brother.
Why the best athletes? 12, because go what? AAU go to 12.
Well, first of all, it's who's gonna do it. Once you get past the adults, it ain't gonna never happen because we can't get past the adult business. Yeah. Thing is, everybody think that offensive genius.
Right.
Everybody think that defensive genius. So that's the issue that's gonna happen.
So nigga said that's a great question.
Yeah, but that's the issue. Once you get past the adult, you can get down to it. But you're not gonna because just this area. Mm-hmm. Everybody think this is the best team really don't have the best coaches. Think about it. The best teams really don't have the best. You really don't have to coach. What did anybody see that little thing from Mike Tomlin?
No, I didn't see it.
You ain't hear it yet. He talked about coaches are managers.
Oh yeah, he said
most coaches don't want to manage.
They don't want to coach.
They don't want to manage.
I think it's important though, man. We talking about for these athletes though, and I'll leave with this. That now you brought this up, bringing the best players together. When you bring great players together, that's when more attention comes. Like y'all talking about attention, exposure, and all that stuff. People want to go where the athletes are. So if it's onesies and twosies here, it's best to kind of help these athletes out and bring them together and ditch your ego, so that these kids can actually get some traction and be able to help them out. But
that's what I would do. So like, if I get as far as like going to like camps or those different things, if I get a letter saying, hey, Coach Z, like we want KJ to come to my camp, I'm gonna be like, all right, well, who's coming? Like if it's supposed to be an all-star team, it's supposed to be an all-star camp, we can do who's coming. I'm gonna look and see who's coming. And be like, no, we cool.
We good because we already know the level of
I already know where it's at. Like I already know where it's at. So it's like the best athlete competition builds greatness.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out why the youth coaches in this area cannot. And we all know the worst thing a man can have is pride.
Right.
So if we could put that pride to the side, say, hey, we're trying to produce something here where there's a feeder system where it's like, okay, say X team got the best athletes ever. Z team has the next second best athletes. A team has the next best athlete. So now, so not only are you breeding like a hierarchy system within like just like D1, D2, D3 is. That's what it is. You're feeding that to them kids now, and you're like, look, get your best athletes on one team, get your second best athlete. It's like varsity JV.
But quite ask the question, and the only reason I say that, look at New England. New England won all them championships, but once them guys left that team, they fell off. Does putting them all together help them build? or it hides deficiencies. So that becomes an issue. You got all the best athletes on a team, but are they developing? Because you can't develop if you got a good team. You'll find out when they go to a crappy team, you're like, man, you was the bad running back over there. You know why? Because the holes were so wide open, you ain't had to worry about. You was the fastest one running from sideline to sideline. So a lot of things was hidden. You can't run between tackle, or the hole got to be wide open. They go when they get to the NFL, the best running backs are the ones that nobody ever know about.
Yeah,
you be like, why? Because they used to fighting through small holes. So now when I'm in the NFL, I get a big hole, I'm gone. So is it going to help by putting the best athlete? That's why what I do believe is, I don't think the season, but the All-Star, that's where we can show what we got when it's time to go play in the All-Star. That's where we got to say, but guess what? What happens in the All-Star? Remember that adult ego come. I should be the coach.
And that's got to be done. We got to get rid of that. We got to ditch the ego, go with the we go. We got to stop that.
And this is my personal opinion, man. I don't think that a father should be able to coach his son on the team. Like I don't think
you ain't a daddy ball fan?
No, sir. Like my son played running back, and I was coaching the offensive line, and the defensive line. So it's just like, look, I'm gonna let you coach. Like, I'm gonna help him when he get off the field. I'm gonna show him what he need to do. Yeah. But as far as that, because it creates a conflict of interest between the organization and the other kids. Like I say, it's so many athletes who don't get a legit chance.
Be honest. When your son was on the field, where was your eyes at?
When my son was on the field, on me watching football. But because of who he was, like shit, he was everywhere. So it was.
But because your son was on the field, where's your eyes at? I'm telling you from a father that coached his son. Understand I didn't see nobody else because I'm watching him. Why? Because we critique. And that's why I tell people when your kid on the field, be a fan. Because you know what he's looking for? He's looking for to look up in the stands and his dad watching the game. I can't look to the sideline. You missed my play, Dad. You know why? You missed my play because you the defensive coordinator. I'm on offense. You the defensive coordinator, and you missed my whole play. Kids play for parents. I'm telling you, they want. My number one fan isn't the coach. I care less about the coach. I care about my mom. I care about my dad. I care about my uncle watching it. You see that play? And when they look down and you on the sideline and you missed the play because you over there, you the special teams, they ain't trying to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Be present at the games, y'all.
Yeah.
Be present at the games. And make sure y'all loving on your kids, man. Because a lot of this come from not raising your kids, loving on your kids, giving them attention. Because they still kids.
Yeah.
They still kids.
Selfish, and you can't be upset with them because that's what they are. And I found that about my son once I stopped training. I'm training my son. You don't train DeMarcus no more.
Yeah.
And I learned that from my son Hanif, the high school quarterback. He was a varsity quarterback from 9th grade all the way to 12th grade. Mm-hmm. And I stopped training him, and we was in a car one day. And normally when we get in the car and I train him, doing him, he got a little attitude. Why? Because he mad at the coach. Yeah. Well, who you think? The trainer.
Yeah,
who you think the trainer is?
Yeah, for sure.
He mad at Dad. I'm the trainer. So once I stopped, I got a lot of feedback. And he told me, he said, you know something? He said, when you stopped training me, you became my dad. Mm-hmm. And I was able to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk to you when you just made me do all these suicides. Yeah. And now you want to get in the car and you want to ask that question.
I'm pissed at coach right now.
Exactly.
So I ain't trying to deal with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's real, man. It's a blurred line. When you talk about daddy ball, it's a blurred line. But I think it's important, man. We are at the end of the day, we trying to figure out ways to best help these kids, man. Again, that's what it all needs to come down to. Everything that we talked about today is in the effort to be able to educate you guys and arm you guys with the tools that you're gonna need to be able to navigate this process. If y'all got any questions, anything like that, y'all can reach out to my Instagram. I got @BeALightLeader, and I also have Iamfreejuice on Instagram, and then I also have my Be a Light podcast page where you guys can go on YouTube to see some different content. And then, Coach, want to plug in your information?
Oh yeah, I'm on Instagram at Zamunda1 at ZUMUNDA. And then on Facebook, it's Coach Z. Yeah.
And if you're in the Collegiate, Central Texas area, we over here. I train you right now. Come by, get your kid right, man. Make sure you take an investment in what your kid got going on. If your kid wants to take it to the next level, then make sure that you actually are doing everything that you can to be able to get them there. This is the Light Institute, and we out.
Yes, sir.
All right.